What's your name, sir? Oh, I need the microphone on, please.
My name is Anthony Mills.
Thank you. This is State of Michigan versus Anthony Mills, 22F55065. I have received a petition requesting a court-appointed lawyer. I will sign that. You may proceed when you're ready, Miss Apple. Mr. Danner, did you want to say something about bond on this case?
Yes, Your Honor. In this matter, we're just asking for some conditions in regards to his movements, not necessarily to have him remain in custody, but it would require that he find a different place to reside, because we're asking that, I think I wrote it down as East Huron Street, and I meant to put West Huron. So we would like him no going to Street, also no going to Street, as well as a no contact order with Esther Murphy and Aaron Wilson.
Okay, so Mr. Danner, just to let you know, I'd be happy to hear what you have to say about this, of course. The last couple of times that I've had a person who's had an incident at the Delanis Center, I've talked to the Ann Arbor Police Department about it. The opinion of the officers that I spoke to is that the Delanis Center is comfortable managing residents themselves. So they will kick out people that they don't want to have there. And my concern is always releasing a person who has no place to live and has been living in a shelter, because I think we're setting up a situation for failure and additional crime. I will happily order the no contact, and then I'll let the Delanis Center resolve that. But if you have something you want to say, please do.
I understand the idea of what the Delanis Center tries to accomplish and what they try to do. The problem is that they don't regulate. That's the issue. If they actually regulated, it wouldn't be so many times that we are asking people not to go there, because that's where the crime keeps happening. And I understand that they believe that they can do something, but we can have a belief that you don't accomplish.
Did this crime happen at the Delanis Center? That's not what I said.
So the initial incident, which is the count 2, occurred because it's the parking facility right next to the Delanis Center where that car was damaged. The victim in count 1 of the FA was walking out of the Delanis Center, and so she happened to be stopped at 308, which is right next to it.
I see.
Then that's when she's approached by the defendant. So it's one of those things where I'm looking at it as these people are leaving the Delanis Center, and then that's when the attack occurs. So that's how I relate the two.
I see. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So I think that's the primary issue here, Miss Apple.
Yes.
And
Your Honor,
I'd be happy to hear what you have to say about it also.
sure. I did have a chance to meet with Mr. Mills both yesterday and today to discuss this. We'd be requesting a PR bond for him. My concern is that he does have some pretty severe mental health and health issues that he's handling. He's not from Michigan. He was here. His mother just passed away of cancer last month. And he was here handling some of those matters. She was his only support in the state of Michigan, from what I was able to discuss with Mr. Mills. So my concern is that if he's not allowed to return to the Delanis Center, that he ultimately would have nowhere to go. He does have a phone, but it is misplaced. He lost it at the Delanis Center when he left there, which would add to it that if he is able to be released, he may be able to go to the Delanis Center and retrieve that phone that he left there.
So is that what you're asking for, is for him to be able to go and get his belongings, or are you asking?
Ultimately, we would be asking for him to be able to reside there if the employment of the Delanis Center would allow that. Because at this point, what I've discussed with him is he does not have a job, does not have any other support after his mother passed away.
But he wants to stay in Michigan? I mean, if he came here to deal with his mother's passing and that's over, does he need to stay?
We discussed he has some family in Missouri the concern now is how is he going to get back to Missouri? So if he doesn't have the funds for a bus ticket, but I did talk with him about what that could look like if and when he can get back to Missouri, he can ask the court's permission to return there.
Mr. Danner, this property damage and FA are unprovoked. These are not people that he knows, or are they?
From what I can glean, the parties are all strangers.
I would note that with discussion with Mr. Mills, there's obviously no issue with no contact with them. They were individuals that he met at the Delana Center and was, from what he told me, kind of hanging out with them before this
So
incident.
this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep Mr. Mills in jail because I don't like the idea of releasing him onto the street with no place to go and no support system and no job and no mental health treatment. That's not safe for him or for the community. And well, generally speaking, I am opposed to keeping people in custody for those reasons. I also think that Mr. Mills presents some danger to the community, given the nature of these charges, and to himself, given his instability right now. And not having taken testimony on this matter, my statements about allowing people to go back to the Delana Center don't apply to this case. So I'm going to set the bond at 5,000 cash or surety. If Mr. Mills can post that and get out, great. If not, he'll be seen by Judge Simpson next week. So, Mr. Mills, I know we're talking about you like you're not here and like none of this is about your life, and I apologize for that. That is a defect in the court proceeding. So I'm going to speak directly to you now and explain what I'm doing. There are two parts to setting bond, essentially. One part is whether the defendant is a flight risk. Flight risk can be truly fleeing the jurisdiction of the court. It can also be an inability or an unwillingness to participate in court proceedings, and it can be an unwillingness or an inability to follow court orders. Danger to the community is the second part of setting bond, and that's about whether or not a person is whether it appears that a person might engage in ongoing criminal behavior. So my concern with your situation is your very, very unstable living situation. Living in a homeless shelter, your one support person here in Michigan is no longer living. You don't have another home to return to in Ohio. You don't have a job. Your lawyer has testified that you have some mental health concerns and need treatment. That's not set up. You don't have a phone. You don't have an address.
So how do I get my phone back?
You are therefore both a flight risk and a danger to the community. And Mr. Danner has informed me that these things that you're accused of appear to have been unprovoked and fairly random. So I think that a bond is appropriate for all of those reasons. So your
Guys,
bond-
sorry, what name?
I'm sorry, say it again. I know you wanted to tell me that you have a phone. I know.
No, I said, how do I recover my phone then?
That's not something that I can help you with. The Delana, if your phone is at the Delana Center, it'll still be there.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
what?
Okay. So your court date will be next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, June 9th. That'll be approximately 9 a.m. Your bond is $5,000 cash or surety, no 10%. While you are on bond, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victims, Esther Murphy and Aaron Wilson. You are not to go to the Delana Center at Huron Street, except you may, if you are able to post bond, go one time to get your belongings. You need to contact the police and go with the police to get your stuff from there.
How do I post bond? I don't have a job or any money.
Yeah, that's not something I can help you with. You're not to purchase or possess any firearms or weapons. You're not to use alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs. I will give you permission to leave the state if you post bond, to return to Ohio.
Your Honor, I believe it's Missouri.
Oh, the address that's in the file is Ohio.
Mr. Mills, your family's in Missouri, correct? Your kids, the other family that you have?
My sister lives in Ohio. I no longer live with her.
Okay, never mind. Don't leave the state of Michigan without permission of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I know this makes you unhappy, Mr. Mills. It makes me unhappy too. I'm sorry that this is where we are, but hopefully between today and when you appear in court next week, Ms. Apple's office, which has a social worker available, can help you get a little bit more stabilized so that you can be released from jail next week.
All right, stable in like what way? Like,
Mr. Mills, somebody from our office will be in contact with you, and I'm going to reach out to some services that we have.
I just want to read something. May I read this to you?
Sure.
All right, it says, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have no money for bond, Your Magistrate. I'm very depressed. My mom just died last month from pancreatic cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. I watched her die and she was euthanized with morphine sulfate in front of me and then cremated, which I didn't receive any of her ashes. I'm homeless. I'm not even from Michigan. You got that? Did you get all that?
I did hear all of that. So I agree that being in the Washtenaw County Jail is not ideal for a person with a medical condition, but they do have a fully staffed infirmary, and Miss Apple's office is representing you, and everybody will do everything that they can to help you get stabilized enough to leave the jail. Hi, what's your name?
Antonio Pitman.
The state of Michigan versus Antonio Pitman, 22FB1003. I have received a petition requesting a court-appointed lawyer. I will sign that. You may proceed when you are ready, Ms. Reed. Mr. Danner, if there's something you'd like to say, please go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. The request that I'm going to make deviates slightly from the bond form that the court may be in receipt of. And the reasons for that is that I'm going to be asking for a monetary component to this bond. I am going to be asking that he be provided with a $20,000 cash or surety bond, the reason being as follows. The defendant has 8 total felony convictions, stemming from the 90s all the way till current. It appears that it's been basically kind of consistency of the several crimes through the mid to late 90s, and then some in the early 2000s, and then 2010, and then a bond 18, 19, and of course 2020, and the offense we have here. He has 4 prior weapons convictions. He is currently on felony probation to Judge Brown's, my understanding, for a felonious assault and a felon in possession. That was an offense that was pled down from a assault with intent to murder. And so in looking at the fact that, and then we have this offense here where he's again in possession of a firearm. The problem is that when people consistently possess firearms and find ways to continue to get firearms, when they know they're violations of their bond conditions, they know they're violations of their probation, and he knows because he's a felon that he could never lawfully have possessed that gun in the first place. So there can be no where we can say there's a proper purpose for his conduct. So because his conduct had no proper purpose behind it, it was 100% criminal, and we cannot trust that this individual, Mr. Pitman, would actually abide by the court's orders, because he has shown that he will not abide by court orders. We do believe that a monetary bond in this circumstance would be appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Danner. Go ahead, Ms. Reed.
Thank you. We did discuss your stance on weapons charges, and Mr. Pitman does understand that there is likely to be some cash component here. We would just like to ask potentially for a $1,500 10% option, as we discussed that is an amount that he may likely be able to come up with. I understand the concerns here. However, in this instance, he has not yet been convicted, and he would like to have an opportunity to get out of custody so that he can get back to work, as well as to be out of custody to help take care of his children.
So, Mr. Pittman, did your probation get transferred to Lenawee? Is that who you're seeing now? Okay, so it was a 22nd Circuit Court conviction, but it got transferred down to Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just because the address changed, that's why I moved
Right.
to.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't talking about two felony probations. We were just talking about the one. Okay, so yeah, I have a huge problem with guns right now, and you should too, frankly. I can barely even talk about it right now. The repeated illegal possession of firearms. Okay, here's what my problem is. When a person is illegally possessing a firearm, I cannot, I've had this job for 10 and a half years. I cannot think of one single legitimate reason to illegally possess a firearm. No one in 10 and a half years has ever given me a reason that I think makes sense for the illegal possession of a firearm. I have a hard time thinking of a legal reason to possess a firearm, but I know that people sometimes have one. But if you are illegally possessing a firearm, the only reasonable assumption to make is that you intend to illegally use that firearm. Otherwise, there's no reason to have it. So that is contributing to the horrific gun violence in this country. And even if more guns doesn't mean more crime, it definitely means more people die. And I know, Mr. Pittman, that you've had friends and relatives die by guns, and you seem to not feel like that has anything to do with you. So I'm not being flip about your pain. I'm telling you that you're not taking your pain seriously enough. I'm sick and tired of arraigning people who have killed other people. Sick and tired of it. Children killing other children. I'm tired of looking at it on the news. I'm tired of people like you coming in here over and over again, being accused of contributing to this problem. So I am setting a financial bond for you for all of those reasons. And also for one more reason, you have 2 or more felonies within the previous 5 years. There's a law in Michigan that requires a financial component under that situation. Mr. Danner's asked for as a representative of the prosecutor, not Mr. Danner personally, of course, has asked for a bond that is high enough to perhaps keep you in custody. Your lawyer is arguing for something that you can post. I'm inclined to fall someplace in the middle. I'm going to set your bond at $20,000 with the right to post 10%. I don't really care whether or not you're in jail. I care whether or not you continue to illegally possess firearms. Your probable cause conference will be next week, June 9th at 9 a.m. And just rethink what you're doing, please, for everyone's sake. You're all set. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Your Honor, my name is Derek Simpson. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, you're here today on an alleged bond violation. I'm just going to double check your contact information and then we'll get going on that, okay? It's the state of Michigan versus Derek Simpson, 211-1345. You may proceed when you are ready.
Thank you. I just represented Mr. Simpson last week, and he was released on a personal recognizance bond for failing to appear.
This is an alleged bond violation now.
Right. And so I understand that the court is probably likely to keep him in custody until he is able to see Judge Simpson on this matter. So we would just like to ask for the next available court date so that he can get before him.
Do you need any information about the alleged bond violation, or are you all set?
I believe it's just that there was a new case in the 15th. I believe he was arraigned on that.
Today?
I believe so, yes.
Mr. Simpson, my instructions are to keep a person in custody without an opportunity to post bond when they violate bond conditions. And the violation here is allegedly engaging in new criminal behavior. So we can schedule your court date for June 8th, which is a week from today. That's when
Your Honor, excuse me, Your Honor. All due respect, I'd like to say, are you even aware of the conditions of the violation of what happened yesterday?
I have a police report here that alleges that you were involved in a fight. And as Ms. Reed has just told me, you have new criminal charges resulting from that incident.
Your Honor, I haven't spoken with this attorney since said incident has happened. This is the first time me seeing what, according to the screen, refers to as Miss Reed.
Okay.
I've met with you previously, sir.
I don't follow what you're saying. I'm sorry, I just do not agree with that.
Okay, so
Happened, I don't think I've met with you.
were you charged with a new crime and arraigned in the 15th District Court today?
Wouldn't that be today that it would happen? It would have happened?
That's what I just asked you. Did you see somebody this morning in the 15th District Court, a different magistrate?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay, and at that time, were you told that you were being charged with a new crime?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, so that set of facts, you being charged with a new crime, is a violation of your bond on the case that I'm talking to you about right now.
Your
Yes.
Honor, I was not told whether I was being charged or not, or whether this incident resulted in me an individual pressing charges or not.
I don't think, it doesn't usually work like that with an individual pressing charges. Usually it's the prosecutor's office that makes a decision to charge. And if you saw somebody in Ann Arbor today, I think that's because you have a new case as a result of whatever happened yesterday.
Your Honor, this happened yesterday.
Yes.
I don't understand why you keep referring to it as today.
The arraignment happened today.
You saw a judge today, right?
I'm not following what you're saying. I don't follow.
You indicated just shortly ago that you did see another magistrate earlier this morning, correct?
I mean, on the screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're doing
So
everything
that was
on
your
the screen.
arraignment for your new charges.
And the new charges are from whatever happened yesterday. And then today was the day that you were formally charged with a new crime in that 15th District Court proceeding that happened earlier. Are you with me so far?
I am not with you, no.
What are you missing?
I don't understand why you're telling me that I have two charges.
I'm not telling you that. You have an old case with Judge Simpson. That's the one I'm talking to you about, which is from October of 2021. You have an assault and battery charge. You saw Judge Simpson last week. Okay. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I believe he saw Magistrate Cameron on Friday.
Oh, Magistrate Cameron on Friday was the arraignment? No.
It was, yeah, because he had a failure to appear.
Okay, let's back up. This file is 2111345 that alleges that on October 9th, 2021, you were assaultive towards another person. I saw you on April 25th, 2022, arraigned you on this charge, gave you a no contact order and a do not go to order for the alleged victim and a court date for May 18th. Okay, with me?
I'm not with you, Your Honor.
Because you don't understand the words I'm saying or you don't remember?
Because this has little to nothing to do with what I was essentially bringing up.
Okay, then maybe I'm the one that doesn't understand. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I was involved in literally physical violence yesterday.
Mhm.
And I was under the assumption that this meeting had something pertaining to do to that. You bringing up old cases about what happened in October and me failing to appear, I don't understand what that has anything to do with.
I'm trying to tell you, okay? You're seeing me today on a bond violation in that case from October.
I find that very hard to believe, considering the fact that this has nothing to do with any of that.
So then the reason that you are saying that is because you don't understand what a bond violation is, which is what I was trying to explain to you. So in this case, part of your bond is you are not to engage in any criminal behavior. That's a standard bond condition.
All right.
Okay. Because you were charged with a new crime, that means that for purposes of your bond, you have engaged in criminal behavior. You don't have to be convicted to have a bond violation. You just have to have police contact of a type that indicates criminal behavior. And so then what happens is you'll see Judge Simpson, and then a determination will be made about whether you actually violated the bond, whether you are in fact responsible for a bond violation. So what I'm seeing you for today is to tell you that you're accused of violating your bond and to give you a court date to talk to Judge Simpson about it.
I'm afraid I'm not quite following what you're saying, Your Honor.
I don't know how else to explain it to you.
Perhaps this would be better interviewed in person than anything.
Well, that's not something I'm going to do.
Well, then I don't think anything's going to get resolved here.
Okay, so I'll just tell you then what the upshot is. My instructions when a person violates their bonds on a case with Judge Simpson is to hold the person without bond. So you don't have an opportunity to post anything until you can see Judge Simpson. You'll see Judge Simpson next Wednesday, June 8th at 9 a.m.
Who is Judge Simpson? I don't follow.
He's the judge on this case from October. You haven't seen him yet because you missed your court date in May.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, I don't need you to say anything. So
I was just under the assumption that this would be involved with my own personal actions from yesterday. I don't know why this is bringing up October and
Mr. Simpson, she's tried to explain it to you multiple times, multiple different ways. I don't know how it can be explained to you any better.
Ms. Reed. I am not sure where you're getting a lot of this information, but I just don't think this is connecting.
It's clear that it is not, but I don't think that there's anything we can do right now to change that.
yeah, I don't know how to explain it to you differently than the way that I have. And the reason that I mentioned not appearing in May and the incident from October is because that's the case that I'm talking to you about, is the one from October. Your bond in that case is the one that you're accused of violating. Yeah. So I don't have anything else to say to you. You'll see Judge Simpson on Wednesday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck to you. Thank you, Mr. Simpson.